My name is Faith Eilertson, and here's my speech on why standardized testing is bad. Also, I'm not feeling the best, so if I cough a lot, I'm sorry in advance. Let me start off with this quote stated by Michelle Obama that says, "If my future were determined by my performance on a standardized test, I wouldn't be here." Regardless of my personal political views, I think we can all say that Michelle Obama is pretty successful. She makes a net worth of $70 million, which goes to prove the point of this quote. Today I'll be talking about why standardized testing is bad, and 3 reasons. 1, it's ineffective at gauging students' ability or work ethic. 2, it's mainly money seeking. And 3, it causes immense pressure and anxiety and stress on a student, which is unnecessary. So after this speech, I hope that you are more informed on the downsides of standardized testing. To start off, we will be talking about how ineffective it is at gauging how or what students can actually do. A lot of people know the feeling of taking the ACT or SAT or another standardized test and receiving a bad grade, but having all A's or B's in the classroom. That is so frustrating, let me tell you. I cannot tell you the countless times I have heard this. It's not about what you know, but about your time management and how well you are at taking a test. It may be true, but just because you have good time management does not mean you are successful, hardworking, or perseverant, or even smart. Britannica states that GPAs are a 5 times stronger indicator of college success than standardized tests, according to a study of 55,084 Chicago public school students. I personally am not the best test taker, but I have a 4.1 GPA and all A's, so I do pretty good. As students, we all know that the hard work in the classroom speaks miles more than a 2-hour test behind a screen or behind a paper. I would also like to point out that during COVID, they stopped requiring these on college apps, but however, they're going back to them, even though it is so ineffective. So why go back to them? The real reason for requiring them moves me to my second point. It is all for the money. When taking the ACT or SAT, the school pays for it, but if you want to retake it again, you have to pay for it then. According to Financial Summary, the standardized testing company received over $1.2 billion in revenue in 2020. It's crazy. That is a big reason why they keep requiring these tests on college applications, because it is making so much money for these companies. If there's so much evidence backing up the ineffectiveness of these tests, then why keep giving them? Well, have you heard the saying, money is the root of all issues? Well, that is prevalent here. Not only does one of those problems include ineffectiveness, but to move to my last point, it causes immense anxiety in students, which is the last reason why standardized testing is bad. According to Utopia, some young students experience anxiety, panic, irritability, frustration, boredom, crying, headaches, and loss of sleep while taking high-stake tests. I can attest to the fact that when I took the ACT, I was super stressed and anxious because there's so much pressure put on getting a good grade on this single test in order to get into my dream college or get a good scholarship so I can go to my dream college. There's just so much pressure, and it causes so much anxiety. To me, kids' mental health matters more than a 2 to 3 hour test that we said is pointless and ineffective. To wrap up everything, overall standardized testing does more bad than good. For one, it doesn't model a student's work ethic or how hard they work or their smartness. It is solely for money, which is a very selfish and unethical thing. And lastly, it puts too much pressure and stress and anxiety on students. That is way unnecessary. Next, after listening to this speech, I hope you learned the negatives and stand up for why standardized testing is bad. Next time you take a test, I hope you remember that your work ethic is not modeled in those 2 hours of sitting behind a screen, but that you know it's the work that you put into your classroom and the homework and the very late nights of studying. And that is why standardized testing is bad.